All right, y'all. All right, welcome. Y'all tuning in. Another episode, CheesTake with the crew. You know how we get down. Y'all know how
You
we
know
do
it.
it.
You know it.
Yeah, we back in the building, like they say.
Did you
So
post the live feed? I don't see it on. Did you post it? The
yeah,
live
yeah,
feed?
I just tagged it on in there.
Okay, okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I see it now.
you see it now. Yeah, it's just not going live.
Uh-oh. Oh, let me turn it down. Okay.
Yeah, don't forget. Yeah, you can share it on your screen. So, all right,
I
bet.
got you. I'm ready.
All right, that's what's up. All right. Chris over there eating, fish over there eating.
I'm good
I
now.
don't blame.
All right, so wifey on, she sees. All right, cool. We got people coming on. All right, y'all. So, first and foremost, before we get started, always want to give honor to God,
For sure.
Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, man. Without God, I don't have nothing, and I don't know what it is to not have God in my life. I know what it is to be outside the will of God for my life, when I was out here wilding out. But I don't know what it is not to have God in my life. So, He didn't protect me through so many things. I know each one of us probably got a whole testimony. You have a whole church up in here like this,
Of course.
but
Yep.
always want to start off by that, giving God honor, praise, glory. And so, with that being said, next, I always want to thank my beautiful and amazing wife. She helped put all this stuff together, y'all. You know, the fellas know, without
Of
her
course.
doing all this stuff, man, it'd be a lot difficult for me. So I want to definitely want to thank my wife.
Yep.
Um, and then definitely want to thank y'all, man. I'm not able to do this right here without all you guys. So, man, y'all my brothers. I love y'all. One day we're gonna have everybody on. I know Daytron got some stuff. He working on a project right now with the job. So that's taking a lot of his time up. And I
That's
know
true.
Jay's doing some teaching.
Yep.
So they're coming in and out. I know Palm, you got some stuff going on. So
Yes,
I
sir.
just
Yes, sir.
appreciate everybody that jump on here. We got some guests and stuff coming up too. So and we're getting ready to do getting ready to go on IG live as well as Facebook and
Mhm.
YouTube. So stay tuned for that. But there's some stuff we have to do on the back end. So we're getting ready to really take this thing to another level. But tonight we're just gonna go ahead and continue that series that we've been talking about, celebrating life. This past week we talked about um, um what are we talking about? I just went blank. Um, I knew we said overcoming fear. We did that one. Parenting matters.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um,
Legacy.
legacy. That's what it was. So this past week, this
Hmm.
past Tuesday, we did legacy. And so tonight, we're going to be talking about preparation. That's the topic tonight, preparation. Because none of that stuff we've been talking about, overcoming fear, parenting, legacy, none of that matters if you're not prepared for the next phase in your life, if you're not prepared for what God has for you. And I think a lot of us, we want things and we've been praying for things, or we've been asking for things. We've been trying to manifest things, but unless you're prepared for it, it's not going to come your way. And in preparation, I just believe a lot of times people always feel like everything got to be or everything got to be right. You see what I'm saying? Everything got to be in order. And if you and the problem with that is, if you did everything the way you feel like it should be in order, then why you need God? You won't even need God in your life. You know what I'm saying? It's
That's
like
true.
somebody say, I'm finna get married at 30 and have two kids and be in a big old house. Well, that's good on just saying it. And yes, you could try to manifest that, but you got to prepare yourself for that. You know what I'm saying? And so I think everything that we've been talking about, this is the stage where you have to be prepared, right? Mentally, physically, spiritually, right? You have to be prepared for whatever it is that you have going on and whatever it is that you preparing yourself for. So sometimes there's some stuff that happened to you, some trials, tribulations, some setbacks. It's not because God don't want you to have things. It's not because you did something wrong. It's a test, and it's preparing you for something. right? If you have never been through nothing, you'll never have the experiences or the feelings to understand when you do have to deal with some things. You get what I'm saying?
That's true.
Like
Yeah.
you
That's true.
never appreciate, right? You never appreciate sunshine until you don't have some rainy days. You never appreciate
Mhm.
the rain until you had a drought, right? We have no rain at all, and so life is just like that, right? And so I really wanted to kind of touch on that tonight because I just feel that there's a myth a lot of times where people feel like things just is just gonna happen, right? And they don't prepare for it. And TD Jake said something before on one of his messages. He says, "Everybody believe God for the oak tree. Nobody ever believes God for the acorn, right?
Mm.
Nobody ever believes God for the small things, right? The Bible says, have a mustard grain of faith, right? We always want, he also talked about, I remember TJ said this too. He said, a lot of y'all always want the guy with the Mercedes Benz to show up, right? You want the guy in the three-piece suit to show up, or the female to look good, and you feel your opportunity is going to look like that. And then if you ever follow biblical principles, a lot of times, whatever it is that you believe in for, whatever the blessing comes, a lot of times, y'all could correct me if I'm wrong, it always came a way you didn't think it would come. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or it came from a source that you never thought it would come from. You know what I mean? Like
What's
in your
the
mind, you got
what do y'all think the hardest part of preparation in life? Uh, Not even life in your goals or things that you have planned. What do you think that is the hardest thing preparing, just preparation wise, individual? It can be I procrastinate on starting, or I
right,
procrastinate
right.
on what's your biggest preparation? How do you prepare in life, just
I think
mentally?
the first thing you got to prepare. I think mentally, um, I think the biggest thing in preparation, in my opinion, when dealing with any situation is where do you actually start, right? How do I actually start something? Even in bad
Right.
situations. I'll give you an example. When I was going through a divorce, my first time being married,
Hmm.
I went to people in church, and they was like, "When we praying for you, we pray your marriage work and all that stuff," and that was great. I don't knock that, and I thank for their prayers. But my ex-wife had kind of checked out the marriage, so
Hmm.
you telling me you're praying for me, I appreciate that. But what nobody did, and I see this a lot of times. A lot of people are like, "Oh, well, that's y'all's business. I ain't trying to get involved," and I understand what they mean. But if I'm your brother and I'm saying, man, this is what's going on, man. Like she getting ready to really leave, man. We done the counseling. I don't know what to do. I don't need you to say I'm just praying for you, right? Because I need to prepare to kind of figure out how do I move on from this situation? How am I gonna, like, for example, hey Chee, you know what, man? Hey, do you got a place to stay? If y'all
Hmm.
splitting like that, where you gonna live, right? All that money, man. You might need to go ahead and get you a separate bank account right now, right? Just a separate one so that you ain't gonna get stuck out somewhere. These are little things that I didn't think about going through the divorce process. There was separation at that time, right? We had both bank accounts, we had bank cards, we had a whole bunch of different things together. So when the time to break away from that, it just kind of dropped on me like that. I wasn't prepared, even though I knew what I was going through with my ex-wife and we were getting ready to split. I wasn't prepared, and I felt
Did
like
did did
had somebody
did
come
she
talk to
prepare?
me. Say again?
Did she prepare?
Yeah, see, she was prepared mentally. Like she didn't
Oh,
prepare
kind
actually.
of
She was
choppy.
prepared. She checked out mentally. You see what I'm saying? So she herself wasn't prepared, right? She was just like, I'm kind of like I'm done. She kind of made some moves. And that's usually what happens when somebody kind of checked out. They kind of already making some plans elsewhere, right? And you're not because you're trying to save the marriage and you're trying to do all these other stuff, right? But what I'm talking about tonight is just the next step. Like you say, Damon, how do you get started? And I just use that as an example. That's go through a divorce. But I think a lot of times, period, man, like people have dreams, they have things they want to do, but
I
how do
agree.
you get started, right? That I think that's the
Well,
biggest thing with
well,
preparation.
pre means before, right? Um,
Right.
in preparation, of course, we all know what that means. I was reading something the other day about preparation. It said, what did it say? It allows you to relax, thrive, and be confident.
I
Preparation.
like that.
Uh,
I like
when you
that.
prepare for things in life, you don't have to stress or put all your worries in it because you already know before what you're gonna do and what you need to
Right.
do. So
It's true.
I think you need to plan ahead, just pre practice on preparing about any situation in life. You know what I mean? So
I think
uh,
that's it. That's
preparation is
perfect
a key. Preparation is a key
to
commodity
everything.
in life. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If you want to be married, you got to prepare yourself for that. Like a lot of
Ooh,
people, people
mm,
talking about they single and they want to get married, but are you preparing yourself for that? In other words, are
man,
you fixing your? Let me give you a good. Are you fixing your credit? Right? Are you getting up trying to get out of debt? You know what I'm saying? Because if you go and be with somebody, you going to incur whatever debt they bring in. Whatever things they come to the
that's
table.
true.
And you want them to not have no debt, but everybody got some stuff that
Right.
they working on, and everybody money may not be a certain way, but
That's true.
are you preparing yourself, for example, right? Children, right? Let's say you decide you want to get married, you want to have kids. Well, guess what? I was raised differently than you, even though we might be in the same era, same generation. My parents ain't your parents, right?
Hmm.
You might come from a single family home. I may come from a two-parent home, or we may both come from two-parent homes, but how to prepare, how to discipline kids. You know what I'm saying? You might believe that, okay, I don't believe in corporal punishment. I mean, I believe this. So it's just little things that could turn to big things in life we don't prepare for. So I think money wise, prepare for everything that you want. Because once you say you want something, it's going to manifest. It's just a matter of time. And a lot of times it manifests whether you're ready or not, right? Because you're already asking for this thing. And I mean, and it's proven. There are people who play the lottery every day to be millionaires, and they never prepare themselves to be a millionaire, right? Because
I'm.
if that was true, the success rate will be a lot higher,
Mhm.
you know. So I just think that's what I think. I think how you
I'm
start.
gonna be totally honest with you, Chi, and Chris. Preparation ain't always good. It don't always work out as planned sometimes too.
Okay.
Sometimes you can, have that preparation and it just simply just don't work for you. So what do you tell people when you telling us to be pre before and you have that knowledge of you want to prepare and that simply just don't work out for you? So
Well,
what do you tell people when that plan, that preparation doesn't work?
was two different things right there, right?
Hmm.
It's preparation and a plan. Those are two different entities
That's
in the
true.
same
In the
component,
same,
right?
correct,
Right,
correct.
same component. So you can be prepared for something,
Hmm.
and it just may not be God's plan for you, right? God never tells you the how. How never
That's true.
happens to none of us in life, right?
That's
We may
true.
know the process to it. Like, if I go for a job, right? I got to apply
Hmm.
for the job and I know I got to interview and I should have my resume and stuff like that. But a lot
Hmm.
of times, you can get a job, somebody could refer you for a job and you can bypass a whole lot of that,
That's
right? You
true.
can bypass, or you know what I'm saying? Somebody just hands them, they'll put something on record for you, like they hand me your resume and we put it on file. But sometimes you already got the job just because of somebody you know. So you
Hmm.
can bypass the process if you're prepared for the job. So you may have a plan to go a certain way. You may have a plan to do things, but if you prepare yourself for it, it doesn't matter if the plan don't work or not. The end result is what you prepare yourself for. You see what I'm saying? You don't know
Hmm.
how the process might go, but if you just prepare for the outcome, that's all that matters, right? You got to prepare for that part of it. And I think that's my take on that cheese take on it, right? Prepare yourself for the thing that you want, right? If I'm believing God for a big old mansion, well, I want to prepare myself for that, right? I want to prepare myself for the house I want, or the car I want, or the job, or whatever, right? Prepare yourself And the first thing you got to do is prepare yourself mentally. That's the first thing, right? You got to get your mind right to what it is you want. Then guess what? Once your mind decides they want to do something, everything else gonna line up. You're gonna start looking at stuff online. You're gonna start doing a little research here. You're gonna start thinking about this, that, and the other. Then all of a sudden, if you're looking at a car, you're looking online. All of a sudden, now you're at the dealership looking at a couple of them. Now you want to know, can I get a new one? Can I get a used one? What my credit score look like? Do I
That's true.
finance it? You see what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
once your mind gets to it, the devil's the biggest thing the devil does to people, he never gives them the opportunity to prepare for anything. He never gives you the opportunity to prepare for anything. That's his biggest thing, right? If he can keep you distracted, if he can get you to stick to that plan that you put together, that maybe that ain't God's plan for you, but because that's your plan, you just want to rock with it regardless. You know what I'm saying? Like there are people who will just literally do something knowing the outcome, but they stubborn, they strong willed, right? And they don't prepare and they're not open. You get what I'm saying? Like you got to be
Can
open and prepared.
can y'all give me an example of something y'all prepared for this year?
Go ahead, Chris. You don't ate that food. You got the itis over there. Look at
I ain't gonna lie, that's all I'm thinking about. My plate too.
that's a meal. There he is, eating that food. Can you answer the question? Fish, answer the question. You over there. Chop it down. You got
I prepare for that.
there you go, right? You prepared to eat. We're in the middle of a podcast. You over there eat.
You don't know how long I prepare for that. No,
Clearly.
one thing I prepared for this year.
Yeah, because it can
Um,
be anything. It can be
Yeah.
anything. Nothing major.
I really prepared for the journey that I was going on as far as with my health
Hmm.
and my health and my just trying to prepare for that, not knowing the real outcome,
Hmm.
how I'm gonna end up, how I'm gonna look, how much weight I'm gonna lose, all that kind of stuff. But I did everything in preparation for a great outcome. Now, like you said earlier, the work has to continue
Right.
in order for me to get close to the outcome that I set out for, the thing that I planned for. That I tried to do what I could before I went on that cruise. Things happened, and some of those plans got kind of out of whack. But
Hmm.
that doesn't.
It didn't change the
I didn't.
outcome.
It didn't change the outcome because
Right.
I'm still on pace to do what I'm set out
And
to
you
do.
still went
So
on a cruise, right?
still went out on a cruise.
How it went, see, and that's beautiful you say that because how you went about it didn't manifest or happen the way you think it should have happened, right?
Hmm.
There's some
Hmm.
other things that came into play, right? There's some things that we could say could happen just by the process in life, right? If you go get your
Right.
driver's license, you got to take the driving test, you got to do a couple things here. You know what I'm saying? There's a process of some things in life.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the preparation part is us having to openly step into stuff with some faith, right? Like I don't know how it's gonna happen, but I
Right.
know it's gonna happen, right? Like for me,
Right.
even for doing CheesTake, right? Doing this right here. This time I post stuff and there's things I'm worried about. I'm like, man, you know what? How's this going to unfold? I'm
Or
thinking
come
about you
off.
fellas, how's it gonna
Yeah,
come off, the fellas in
yeah,
the schedule and how we gonna do the show. And
that's
this
true.
is an example. Now I'm thinking about, okay, my wife doing all this stuff, like, this year we want to do some traveling. So there are things in my mind
Hmm.
that I don't know how the process itself is going to do it. But then
Right.
I have to think about it. God has never. There's no scripture in the Bible for all my Christian people where God promises you how He's going to do something for you. He gives you commandments. He tells you the process. He'll tell you if you do this, this will happen. Right? Seek ye first the kingdom. All the things will be added. A man who had a wife, got a good thing. He gives you, instructions, and he gives you a process on it, but he never tells you how. He never tells you how it's going to happen. He never gives you a
Right.
step by step in the Bible to tell you this. Now,
Let,
Right.
the,
let me ask y'all this. When y'all prepare for something and it failed, are you guys embarrassed or you learn from it? Well, not
Depends on
embarrassed. Not, I wouldn't say embarrassed,
right,
but you know
it.
what I
It
mean.
right,
it depends on how big.
The preparation is.
Right. It depends on what you set yourself up to
right.
Hmm.
do,
Hmm.
and if
Absolutely.
that is if you put so much into it and it doesn't come out like you plan,
Pastor
I
Reynolds, let me shout him out real quickly,
I think
man.
it's a
My
good
man, it's the man
it'll
himself.
be a it'll be a good teaching lesson
Yeah,
in a sense of, okay, this didn't work, but what did you accomplish you know,
in the
going
In the
towards
process.
that
process. In
thing?
the
What
In the
did
process.
you
Yeah.
process.
accomplish in that?
Right.
You
Right,
know what I mean? So that's you never really come
right.
out with you don't really come away with a failure.
Right. What they say, I don't lose, I just learn. Right. I think that's the thing people say.
That's a good way of
Right.
saying it. Yes.
Yeah, I don't lose, I just learn. Right. Like every obstacle, everything we deal with, we're learning in life. Right. I think a lot
Hmm.
of times when we're talking about preparation, a lot of times I just think a lot, man, people are not, we're not really honest with ourselves in situations. We're not honest with
Right.
ourselves in the process. You know what I mean? Like,
That's
it's
true.
okay for you to say, you know what, man, I need to lose some weight, right?
Right.
And it's unrealistic if you think you're just gonna get up tomorrow, hit the gym, and just get all this discipline and lose 40, 50 pounds, right?
No.
Tell me about
What
It
you
just
gonna
don't
end up
happen like
doing?
that.
You gonna end up pulling something.
Right. But no, just the process that you're not going to get up
Yeah.
and just do it like that, right? You have to take, it's a mental thing, first of all. First of all,
Right.
you got to
Hmm.
decide, okay, if I'm gonna lose some weight, well, guess the first thing you're gonna do is you got to cut back on eat, right?
Right.
Doesn't mean you don't eat no meals, doesn't mean you're gonna not eat, chicken or sugar, whatever it is. You got to cut back. That's the first step.
Hmm.
So don't just go cold turkey, because it never works like that, right? So anything you're preparing for, you got to take a step-by-step approach. And I think we know the outcome and we just dive for it. And if you just go straight for that outcome like that and you bypass the process, well, what happens is you don't prepare yourself for the journey. And
Right.
so you just think, I'm gonna go straight there. I'm gonna wake up tomorrow. I'm gonna do this. It doesn't happen like that, right? Anything you believe in God for, anything you have in life, it's like it's like giving birth, right?
it.
When a woman gets pregnant, it don't matter what happens. She got to go through that whole 9 month process. If she bypassed that 9 month process, the baby comes out premature. You see what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Because it's not fully developed. So your vision, your dream, the thing that you want, if it comes out premature, it's because you didn't go through the entire process.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
that's what we talk about. You have got to prepare yourself for that slowly but surely. And I think that's what we just got to tell people, man. Like, take your time and prepare yourself for whatever it is that you're trying to do. I don't know if it's marriage, a house, a car, this, or that. Once you step into it, right? Once you make that decision mentally, it's over. Because once you say mentally, right? It's the Bible says, whatever in the heart, the mouth speaketh, right? So
That's true.
whatever in your heart, it's gonna come out of your mouth. So when you decide in your mind, it goes to your heart, man, I'm gonna lose this weight. All of a sudden you start saying it.
Hmm.
You ever
Hmm.
tell people something, man, and then you don't even really conversation, you start saying it. Nah, I ain't gonna eat that. Ooh, I gotta lose 10 pounds. I gotta lose 15 pounds, man. I gotta hit the gym. Man, I gotta go do this over here. Man, I gotta cut back on. You start saying it out loud without even realizing. You don't even realize that you manifesting it. And what
Right.
happens, right? Somebody try to offer you something like, nah, I'm good, man. I'm gonna eat a little bit here, but I really, you know what, man? I'm gonna eat a little bit, but I ain't gonna eat nothing later on, right?
Yeah.
Because I want to
Yeah.
cut back, right? You see what I'm saying? So you're not
Hmm.
doing it cold turkey, but you're saying it, you're putting words and you're manifesting it, but you're not beating yourself up in the process. And I think that's the next thing people always do. We beat ourselves up.
And then what you end up doing is you start being able to try to go seek the knowledge.
Right, exactly. Once you make
to
that decision, right, you start checking
to
on the gym
to
memberships, right?
yeah, right.
Look at the
I
ingredients of the
mean,
food, right?
not
Ingredients of the food. You ever
and
start looking at
not it,
that?
not just in that though, but you know what I mean. You start seeking knowledge on how to you kind of prepare, but you start seeking knowledge in how to better prepare.
Right.
You know what other things can I do? What else can I add to this to either speed up the process or just to make sure that the
like a
process is
like a
is done
prevention,
correctly.
like a
Yeah,
Right.
prevention.
Right.
Okay.
But
yeah, you know what I
So
mean.
we
is,
got
bro.
We can
got
save.
preparation,
Mhm.
we got
Right.
prevention.
Right.
Um, what's the next one? Protection.
There it is. Preparation, right?
So
Prevention,
you preparing it, then you
and
trying to prevent things that may go wrong and may go right. Then
right, protect it.
you want to protect that preparation at all costs.
Okay, I'm
Right.
glad you brought that up. So when we talk about protection, let's put it out here.
Yeah.
Whatever it is you're trying to do, you have to understand something. Everybody's not going to be on board with it. I know we know that. I know we know that. Most of us
Bro.
already heard that
Look at you.
story.
Look.
Most we already know that, right? Most of us already know that. That's not something that you never heard before, right?
Man,
But
What's up, Chris? What's going on?
everybody, Chris is so silly.
bro, just
And
just me saying, yeah, I went through this.
everybody not. And
Look,
it's
man,
it's
Tell me
not
hey,
gonna
about it.
rock with you.
Tell me about it.
we can talk about the whole weight loss thing. We can talk
Hmm.
about that
Right.
because
There are people, man.
when I said I wasn't gonna eat meat,
They doubted
oh,
you.
bruh, and I
Hmm.
mean, I said I'm not eating meat. I didn't say you had to stop.
Man, they
I
try like you
said
in
me.
prison. Oh
Yeah, it's
yeah.
like what you man, you ain't gonna make it. You ain't gonna.
Right, right.
I'm like, come on, man. You know what I mean? After a while, I kind of just shut down from it. I'm like, okay, well,
But it's the same
once
thing, right?
once once I stop, once I keep going, then you will see. And
Hmm.
and I left it at that. I don't. If anybody asks me about it, then I talk to them about it. But other than that, I go on by my business. Yeah, I'm eating my food right now. You know, ain't no meat in it. I'm cool. I
But this
mean,
how people do though, right? It's like remember back in the day, and it may happen now. Whenever you tell somebody you try to do something right, you try to do something good,
yeah.
they
And
always come and try to tempt you. Like if you say I don't drink alcohol, why is it that people always, whenever you tell somebody I
Yeah,
don't
let's take a
drink,
shot. Let's take a
they
shot.
always
bro,
try to get you to. Oh,
Let's take a shot. Yeah.
just taste this real quick.
What I just
Taste
told
it.
you. What I just
Yeah,
told you. I
taste it
said
real
I
quick.
wouldn't drink. Yeah,
I
yeah,
won't
I'm
drink it,
not.
right?
yeah,
What
Yeah.
do they say, right? Hold on,
yeah,
taste this real quick.
yeah.
You look, you can't even taste the alcohol. You can't even taste
Yeah,
the
that's like,
alcohol, right?
man,
Right? Why do
like,
tell me? It's a fruit drink. It's fruit punch. You can't even taste
and
it.
and
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 I'm
they
like, I
they
just
would
told you I don't drink.
they
That's
would
true.
do that. They would do that, and it seemed like you have to give them a backstory.
Right? Because
Nah,
if you tell them you don't drink,
I really don't. I just don't drink.
why is it right after you say
I,
that? Well, what do you mean you
yeah.
don't drink?
Well, what
Why you
happened?
don't drink? What happened? You
You
know
know
what
what I'm
I'm
saying?
saying? Like, it ain't my thing. Like, I don't want to drink. I don't not feel it.
Man,
But
Tony
that's
Baker said that. He said he, he said, they like, man, did you ruin marriages? I mean, did you beat your kids? You know, what made you stop?
Oh man.
It's like
right.
I can't believe you don't drink
Just because you
poison.
cut out meat, right?
Yeah.
And that's
You
the
know,
thing too. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
You're supposed to prepare your body. You do preparation. As
right,
you get older, your body
Hmm.
changes. All right.
yeah, hmm,
And I think everybody need to understand some stuff, right? You
Let's be honest. True. Let's be totally honest. It's nothing wrong with drinking. But if
no,
somebody come to you and say,
I don't drink.
I'm trying to do something for me," don't
Right.
yeah,
try to convince him otherwise. When he trying to,
don't
it's
try to
already
press
hard
them.
to. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
Let it
yeah,
go, let it go.
yeah,
I
yeah.
never, me personally, I never seen Chee drink. I never have. I
Yeah.
never
It's
have.
crazy, right? And
And
here's the
and
thing. My
and
brother,
he's been with us. Yes,
bruh, my
yeah,
brother is one of the main ones. I love my brother, y'all. Every time, Chee, you gotta try this. Chee. Matter of fact, he be asking me, Chee, can you bring the bottle? He tells me what to bring. Now I've got to go buy the alcohol and take it to him. You're like, Chee, on the way, Chee, you coming to the house? All right, hey, stop at what's a liquor store? Um, what's it? Is it?
Yeah,
I can't remember
specs,
the
specs.
specs.
Yeah,
Hey, she stop at specs. This is what you need to get. Da, da, da. I'm like, I'm not the one drinking. You
So
are.
you don't drink wine or anything? You don't drink
Yeah.
wine or
Well, you know what,
anything?
man? I have. I mean, have I taste? Have I drank alcohol? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I've drank like wine or
right.
little
Hmm.
something like that.
Like I
But you
said,
Okay.
know what I'm saying? Oh,
I've never,
celebratory. You know,
I've
I
never
don't
seen you.
drink. Yeah, like
I've
I
never
don't
seen
drink.
you drink. You know
Right.
what I
Yeah, and I
mean?
don't. You know what I'm
And
saying?
we've met up at a bar, you
A
know, and
club.
whatnot,
Yeah, without. I
and
And
don't.
he
all that
talking
You
good
know.
about
stuff.
and he talking about a glass of water with light
Yeah,
ice.
man,
Hey,
I just drink water.
Okay.
You
like,
know
All
what I'm
right.
saying? Devon,
All
hey,
but I
right.
can't tell
Yeah.
Devon when
put the
you had that
hey,
party,
hey,
when
he
you had
get
that
fancy.
at your house.
He put the lemon on there. He put the
See,
lemon in there.
when I came to your
You know what
house,
I'm saying?
see, I didn't
Yeah.
drink. I don't think you
That's
remember that.
true.
See, when I came to
That's
your house,
true.
I didn't drink. You had that
That's
party.
true.
I didn't drink.
I had the
No, no,
party.
no.
Yeah. That's true.
But watch this though. Watch this. God will prepare you for the things that you are in life. I wasn't a drinker, right? I wasn't a big drinker. My
Right.
wife don't
Right.
drink. So when
Okay.
I met my
Yeah, that
wife,
works.
she
That
wasn't a
works.
drinker, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
sometimes, you know, when you get with people, right, to my preparation,
Hmm.
you want
Hmm.
to be in a relationship or you want to get
Right.
with somebody or something like
Right.
that. You don't even understand God can bless you with somebody who don't drink or don't
Yeah.
smoke or something
Hmm.
like that if that's
Hmm.
not
Because
something you do.
and the
You
best
know what
thing
I'm
about it
saying?
is that you didn't fake. You wasn't fake.
Right.
You
It was
didn't come
honest.
across and be like,
Right.
yo, she don't drink, so I'm not gonna drink.
Right.
Uh, even though I want to drink, I'm not gonna drink because
Exactly.
she not. No, it's not that. It's just a that's you.
Right.
That's your thing. That's how
That's
you know
just
what I
me,
mean.
right? You know,
And you can have people. I drink on occasion.
right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean. I'm not a.
Me
I
too.
ain't no.
A social
I
Yeah.
drinker. You
When
drink
I get off
socially,
work,
right?
yeah, when I get
Yeah.
off
Yeah,
work, I gotta go
That's
get
what I'm
this.
saying.
So when I get off work
yeah.
tomorrow,
And
I gotta
that's
You
go
know what I
try
okay,
mean?
this.
right?
Right.
And
Yeah, I'm on
that's
occasion.
just
Right.
me.
Right.
That's how I
Right.
am now. Me personally, when I
Right.
said I wasn't gonna eat meat anymore, I mean it was just that was a total 180. I said I'm not gonna do it anymore, and I
But for
got to the
you,
place to where yeah for me, and I got to the place to where I didn't even crave it anymore.
let's
So
get to the backstory. There were some medical
That's tough.
things that you were dealing with
right,
that kind of forced that, right?
yeah,
If it
And
wasn't
that
medical, would you still be eating it? If it wasn't medical?
uh, even if it wasn't medical, I probably would still be
was
doing it,
instead of
and
doing it right, and
yeah,
that's being honest. That's being fair, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
because the main thing with me, okay, yeah, it was a medical thing,
Right.
which I had already kind of fixed that
Hmm.
um, while I was still eating meat, but
Hmm.
I ended up um, myself. I was kind of flirting with the whole idea, and I had something that I had on my Netflix. It was called What the Hell,
Yeah,
and
Chrissy watched that, man. It's
it,
crazy. I saw parts of it.
it's yeah
It's crazy,
it's kind
bro.
of crazy. So that
It's
thing
crazy stuff.
that actual documentary is set on my Netflix probably like 2 years, and I never watched it. But in my mind, I was like, man, I'm thinking about stepping away from this, and I just want to see what's going to happen.
Hmm.
That was my mind state.
A
And then
different
I ended
challenge.
up, yeah. And I had already kind of set in my mind I was going to do it.
Hmm.
And then one day my wife was like, "Man, let's go ahead and watch this thing." And we watched it,
It's
and
crazy.
that
Wow.
just that put the nail in the coffin. I was like, "Yeah, I'm done.
And if you think
I'm
about it
not going to
too,
do it."
watch this though. As much as we love eating meat, somebody said something, right? It said, you're putting something dead in your body.
Right?
You get what I'm saying? Like meat's
Yeah.
dead, something that's dead and cooked going into your body. And if you ever, it's crazy because if you see a dead animal, right, on the
Hmm.
side of the road or a dead animal, period, it starts rotting, it starts
Yeah.
going through all that stuff. So if you're not careful, a lot of that stuff is in your body, and your body's not designed to carry that stuff like that. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's
It's
crazy.
your body can digest it. It can do everything, but I don't believe that your body is
Designed to really
designed to have
carry
an
that like that
overindulgence of that.
over a
I
period of
don't.
time, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah, I'm
don't.
gonna be honest with y'all, man. I ain't reached that point yet.
But he
Uh,
didn't lie. Look,
when
I ain't
I
there yet.
hold
Look,
up,
I'm not
hold
lying
up,
to you.
Chris. Hold up.
Yeah. To
I
each
when I
ain't
his
get
there
off
yet
own.
this
either.
when I get off this podcast, I got a good supper in there.
Yeah.
Uh,
That
I'm gonna
boy say
think about it.
supper. You know he's
I'm
serious.
a
He said supper.
That's some meat in there. You got some meat in there.
When
when
that's
I
Meat and
some
put
meat.
potatoes.
when I put the fork to my mouth, Chee,
Yeah.
I'm gonna think
Yeah.
about what y'all said.
Oh,
Jesus
he
wept. Jesus
Yeah, he
wept.
did.
Yeah, Jesus wept.
look, look.
Jesus wept. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You
Yeah.
know, I look, Jamal, I ain't lying to you because I'm not there yet. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
why I said,
Yeah.
hey,
And, and,
Yeah.
and I like
you
I
know,
said,
And I be
to each
trying.
it
My
to each
mind be
his
saying,
own.
steak
Every
take too long to digest, right?
yeah.
What's the other stuff that's tough? It takes a lot, 1 or 2 weeks to digest, right? Uh,
one of them
Yeah.
I
food
have it in
things is
my mind, and I be knowing those things, but it's just hard not to because you've been
And
doing it for so long.
you've been doing it for so long, and think
exactly, and
But
it
I
tastes
think about
good. Let's just be real. It
right.
tastes good. It ain't
It
like it
tastes
tastes
good.
bad. It tastes
But
good.
what the
I'm
thing that I
meal
started
steak
looking
and
at
potato
was
this weekend.
the thing that I started looking at was the people who, like you said, you've been doing it for so long. The people who were
Mhm,
raised not doing it. You
Right.
know what I mean? That's
mhm.
what I looked at. And like I said, to each his own. I don't, if that's what you want to do, cool. It's not gonna
Right,
affect me
Right.
right,
if
right,
you
right.
do or don't. And
It's just
like I said,
preparation,
what
right?
I
That's what it
saw
is.
was the change that I went through. And I went from 280 pounds down to 240.
That's a blessing.
And
Wow.
that's not eating meat. So, and I was still had I had way more energy. I did,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? I could tell in my sleep. Look, after a certain after a certain age and a certain weight, yeah, your sleep is different.
Yeah,
I agree.
and
Let's
that's the thing,
let's
right? You got to
let's be
prepare.
honest. You know what I
I
mean?
agree.
You'll start preparing. You'll start preparing by keeping a bottle of water next to your bed.
Always.
It's
Yep,
over
got
though.
that already.
Or you keep a maybe a ginger ale because you know that's strong. You're gonna
Right.
keep that next to your bed. Why?
That's true.
Because you waking up and that acid reflux hitting you, all that kind of stuff. You can't
But once you
something ain't
get to a
sitting
certain
right.
place,
You
right,
know what I mean?
it's
So I believe you have to change.
you got to prepare.
You can't keep doing the same thing
Your body ain't the same.
and because your body's not the same.
And I think that's what we need to start when we talk preparation, right?
Mhm.
When you get a certain once you pass 35, let's just go.
Hmm.
Let me just go and put it for what it is. Once you pass 35, start hitting out to 40, right?
Right.
Your 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 mind has to start changing to some stuff. Once you
Hmm.
get to your 40s, right, you can't eat the way you used to eat. Your body don't heal the way they're supposed to heal, right? There's some things you just not to say you can't do certain things, but you really have to understand your body is changing, right? Your body is going through different
Hmm.
things. Either you and then you gotta make that decision. Either your
Yeah.
body gonna change for the better, where you're gonna like to cut out meat or maybe go working out, maybe doing some things. But you
Yeah.
should be at a stage in life where you do things occasionally, right?
I'm
Like
I'm
you don't
preparing.
like. Let's be honest, y'all. And y'all can tell me when's the last time if you drinking, right? When's the
Yeah.
last time you got drunk like that? You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
y'all know when
You know
happened
what I'm
for me.
saying? When
Y'all
you
Vacation,
was
know.
doing,
vacation.
well, you're on
I ain't gonna
vacation,
lie.
right?
I ain't gonna
Right,
lie,
but
man.
you
On vacation
Yeah.
is
but
the
see, but
only
right there,
time.
watch this.
Yeah,
On
I
vacation,
turned up a little bit. You know what I mean? Because
okay,
you got to think
Right.
but you
about
don't
it.
do that every
On an
day, right?
everyday life, no, I
You're not
don't.
gonna do that.
Hmm.
Yeah,
You
I
don't,
don't.
Yeah.
I
right?
You
don't.
can't.
Good.
Yeah.
It's because but you know what? When you was younger, you could do that all. Man, you was going out and every day of the week. You could
Uh-huh.
drink. You waking
And
out.
getting
You
up
know
in
what
the
I'm
morning,
saying?
going to work.
Go
Yeah.
to work, and you still have drunk attention,
Mixing dark with clear
clear
without a
and all.
problem.
There you go. But I'm saying that
Without a
Mhm.
problem.
right. So
You
what
I
can't
I'm
do it
say
now.
can't do it now,
no.
right? But there's certain things that we have to be at, and I think this is what we want everybody to understand in preparation in life is that it's time for you to start transitioning some things and preparing some things that you're trying to
Yeah.
get towards. Like if you're
Yeah.
35, by the time you hit 35, 40, man, like when you start getting a certain age, you gotta start fixing your credit. You know what I'm saying? Like you need if your
Bro,
credit A plus,
don't even say
you
35,
know what I'm
dog. You
saying?
need to start that at around you
Well, no,
need
no.
to
I'm saying
you
it's
Your,
need to
like
your
you
wife
should be
being
doing
messy
that
too.
huh?
right.
She say, "What made you not drink He'll tell your story.
Oh, babe, come on
He
now, come on now,
I
come
don't
on
know.
now.
I'm just a
I want to
messenger.
tell
I
that.
don't know, G. I don't know.
She really posted that. Let
I'm
me see, babe.
yeah,
Really?
yeah,
I just
yeah.
start seeing the comments
I'm
over
just a
there, babe.
messenger, G. I don't,
hey, Chi, I can help you out with that. I can help you
I'm
out with
not.
that.
She want me to tell that story. Like, why would
I
you want me to tell that story? Man, that was a
I
crazy.
I
I
can help
tell
you
it
out with
since
that.
we
Go,
I just
yeah.
tell it. I mean,
Okay, go
since
ahead.
you gonna
Do
put it
your
out
thing.
there,
Do your thing.
since you put it out there, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, man. I was in
Good job.
college.
Good
I
job,
first got
Christian.
to college. Now granted, my I grew up, more Christian home for the most part. I knew a little something here and there, but I'm really out there wilding out. And so now I got to college, and man, I
Mm-hmm.
got with these white boys, man, and
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't really know better,
Mm-mm.
and I was we in a co-ed dorm, and
hmm
so we in a co-ed dorm, and I'm sitting there like, okay, and I go to the second floor, and they play this little game. Now, here's crazy thing. I don't even remember all of it. That's what's so crazy on this night,
To
man.
this day.
To this day. Oh, but look how crazy this is. I remember the game though. It's a little game where I think where you bounce is either I
It's
think
it's
pennies or
like
quarters or a ball or
like
something,
yeah,
and
like
you
beer
bounce
pong.
it, and they have little cups. And
Yeah.
if you bounce it, it goes in the cup, then you don't drink. But if you miss, you gotta, I think, take shots. I don't remember. I don't drink, so I think that's how the game
Beer
goes. If y'all know
pong,
what I'm talking about.
beer
Yeah,
One of
beer
pong.
them.
pong. Yeah.
One of
D,
them
you
games. I don't know.
that's how you know he don't drink.
Right.
That's how
So
you know right there.
all I know is the
Oh
ball
my
supposed to go in the
game.
thing. It didn't go. But ego. I'm young, so ego and it gonna kick in because they like, oh,
hmm
you can't make it. Da, da, da. I'm like,
Competitive.
yeah, I can make
Yeah,
that.
you
So
competitive.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm lining up the ball. I'm like, I'm more like,
Mhm.
I'm gonna get it. I'm missing. So
Yeah.
now I'm missing, and I'm like, nah, bro, nah, this ain't gonna work. This ain't
hmm
gonna work. Okay, man, I started doing this thing, and man, I'm like, okay. All of a sudden, man, I never had alcohol before, so my chest started burning, man. I was getting hot, started sweating and stuff too. I'm like, what's going on, man? This don't feel right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I don't. So the truth story, I don't remember what happened
hmm
a lot after that. Now, the part I remember was I woke up the next morning and I'm in some girl's room in the dorm and she
hmm
half naked. And I'm sitting there like, oh my God, I'm like, who are you? And she's like, well, I took care of you last night. I'm like, what? I'm like, okay. Well, she wasn't ugly, but I'm like, okay. Well, I'm like, well, how do we? And she was like, well, they dropped you off. I'm like, who the hell is they? Like, who dropped you off? Like, who
That's
dropped me off?
crazy.
So when I go, man, I go walking on campus. I kid you not, true. So I'm walking on campus, and man, they high fiving me. Chee, high fiving me, and man, ooh, how you feeling today? Da da da, man. Last night was wild and crazy, and da da da. I said, man, what you mean? I'm like, what happened? Man, they told me, man, and one of the dudes said, you don't remember? I said, man, I don't remember too much. They're like, oh, yeah, it was really good night then. Man, these dudes told me, they said, man, after that, we went to the apartment on campus, the off-campus apartment. I was, I had drank so much that they had stopped the car. I threw up, and I said, and they said, well, here's what they told me. They said, well, he got all the liquor out. He got all the alcohol out. We need to fill him back up. That's the next
Mm.
goal. Fill him back up. So
That makes
I
your partners,
literally,
bro.
bruh, I don't even remember that. Then they told me I went streaking because so they said somebody dared me, and it was something I had to race around the apartment complex with no clothes on. So I had to go streaking. Somebody, that's what they tell me, right? There was like somebody dared you, now we believed in you, like, dude, we know you're gonna do it, and you rocked it and all this other stuff. I don't even know how my clothes got back on because I remember coming off. Then they told me that when I was finished with that, I had to do an upside down thing. They had like this somebody hold my legs up like that, and then they had some. That's what they told me. My legs was upside down. I don't know what that little game to do with that, but I was drinking upside down. right? Because they had to fill me back up. And then after that, they said, well, no, after that, man, we had to, we were having fun. And then they're like, well, you went into the pool. I'm like, there's a pool? Yeah, it's a true story. Hang on, true story. Went to pool. And then I'm like, well, I didn't wake up when my clothes weren't wet. You know what I'm saying? So how did it happen? So that confirmed that I probably had no clothes on when I went into the pool. So, so I come out, man. I get up like I'm walking in campus. Like this dude's telling me all this story. I'm like, bro, I don't remember none of this. Like none of this stuff. But that experience, y'all. After that, I was like, that just soured me because to not remember, I didn't hear the stories. I'm like, and this is before social media. You know what I'm talking about, y'all? This is way back then. Man, that scarred me so bad. I didn't even sniff alcohol for about 20 years.
Can I ask you a question?
They had you on a crash dummy mission.
Man, I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I didn't touch.
Yeah.
I didn't even sniff around it. I didn't want to be
I
around alcohol.
I just got a question. Did you see anybody that looked like us there at that party? That's your problem right there. That's your
It might
problem.
have been, but I don't know.
You don't know because brothers would not let you do that.
Yeah, when they told me,
They're not gonna let you.
What he had me when he said we had to fill you back up because I was like, I
Yeah,
don't
they're
know
not
what
gonna
that
let
means.
you.
I mean, he said,
No,
I'm like, what? But
I
so
learned. I learned
that
a
was my little
long.
story. Y'all got the story of how I don't really fool with alcohol.
You can't talk about me
I
no
don't
more.
blame you, nothing. Yeah, I don't
I
blame
was
you, nothing.
young. I was young. I
You
didn't.
can't talk about me crawling out the ocean at all.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You
Y'all
went,
even.
you went,
Yeah,
you pulled a Will Ferrell on Old School. You was
bro.
streaking.
Yeah,
Said,
man.
everybody's doing it.
Yeah, bro.
Come on, man.
So I didn't really, but I don't know. So when you hear
Hey,
when I hear stories now, I'm like, okay, so maybe that
Christy,
is true.
Christy, thank you.
Why?
Thank you.
Why?
Thank
Why? I don't know why she
thank
even
you
put that
for
out there.
thank you for letting him go ahead and
You
come out
know,
and tell
Testify.
his truth.
I brought. I think
Yeah,
my
testify.
mom and them, I don't think my mom and them know this part. I don't
They're
think
gonna know it
you know the
now.
story.
They're
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
know it
A lot
now.
of people gonna know this story now, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
man.
They're gonna know it now.
So
Woo.
preparation. Let's get into that state. Preparation,
Well,
prepare.
you didn't prepare for that
So
night.
I did not prepare for that in life. I did not. So
Now you prepared to where you that won't happen again.
listen, I'm prepared to be
So
What
wealth.
was
that's
That's
your
what I'm trying to be prepared for.
there you
Wealth.
go.
So
what was your what was your example that you had in 2023 where you had to make preparation for?
let
Nothing
me
big,
I
nothing
think
major, just anything. It can be anything.
you know what? I had to prepare to
Uh-huh.
the biggest preparation for 2023
Hmm.
for me was understanding money, how money really works, and manifestation, right? The preparation in that because it's power in words. And
Hmm.
so when I decided that, my daughter is big on manifestation, she would always tell me, she'd be like, Dad, don't say this, say it this way. Like, don't say you're going to do something. Say, you know what, I'm doing that as we speak. You know what I'm saying? So instead of me saying I'm going to do it, she said, don't say you're going to do it, say you're doing it. I'm doing this. Even though I'm not actually doing it, for me saying I'm doing it means I'm manifesting it, right? And it
Hmm.
changing my mindset. So it's not something I'm gonna do present past tense, it's something I'm doing in present tense, something I'm doing right now.
Right.
So even though it has not manifested yet, I'm preparing my mind for it. I'm preparing my body for it. And what started to happen, I watched this video by this guy, David Immunitier, was this beautiful video, and it changed me and Christy's life, man. It really did. And that was about 7 months ago, about 7 months ago. And what was so crazy about it was it's some things that he said. And one of the things that he said on there was a lot of times when we believe God for something, we don't even understand how small it is to him. And he
Hmm.
was talking about Joel Osteen. He gave this example. He says, Joel Osteen, if you guys know, if you live in Houston, Joel Osteen is one of the biggest churches here. And Joel
Hmm.
Osteen was believing God for that house that he has in River Oaks right now, that big old mansion.
Hmm.
And he had the money for it. but he was on an airplane, and he was like, Lord, I want this house. I really want this house, but I don't want all that other stuff that come along with it. He said, if I get this house, then all these people are gonna be talking about he taking the church money and all this other stuff. He just didn't want to deal with it, right? So he was like, man, I really want this. So God will give you the desires of your heart. So God spoke to him, and God told him, this is what David Imonitia was saying in the interview. He said, God spoke to Joel Osteen and said to Joel, he says, on the airplane, he says, Joel, look outside the window. Look outside the window. And he looked out the window and he said, look down, tell me what you see. He said, well, Lord, I'm seeing little bitty, little houses, little cars and stuff. It looked like little Lego pieces, right? They were really, really tiny
Mhm.
because he was way up there in the sky. Watch this. This is the most powerful thing I've heard. He said to Joel, God spoke to Joel Osteen and says, what you're seeing right there is from my point of view when you ask for something. Let that register. My point of view when you ask
Mhm.
for something. So when you ask God for something, he's looking like you're in an airplane. When he looking down, it looks like a little Lego piece. To
Right.
you, it looks like a big old 10,000 square foot mansion. But to God, it looks like a little tiny Lego piece. That's his point of view for the things that you're looking for. It's so small to him, it's crazy. You could build a whole castle with Lego pieces, but you standing over that piece like, man, they're little bitty pieces. That's how God looks at the things that when you ask God for something, it may be big for you, but it's small for him. It's a little Lego
Right.
piece for him. You know what I mean? You want that? Oh, that ain't nothing. You want a Range Rover? Psh, that ain't nothing. That's a little tiny car for me. His point of view, he got a point of view looking from an airplane to get a perspective of what God sees when you ask for God for some stuff. It ain't never too, but you had to, so, because I always heard, ain't nothing too big for God, right? Ain't nothing God can't do. And I understand that. But that illustration opened my eyes and my heart to some stuff now. Because so now I was like, well, Lord, wait a minute. I'm thinking too small. Right? He said, when
Mhm.
we said 2023, now I'm thinking, okay, well, you know what? I'm gonna ask for some big things. I'm
Right.
prepared for. I'm prepared to receive it because to God, it's small. But I've
Right.
heard that before. But I'm
Mhm.
one of the people, you got to give an illustration that makes sense to me. And when I heard that, that registered to me because I've been in an airplane before. And we love to sit by the window seat. And when you look down, you be seeing all them little buildings. Yeah, we know they're big, but they look like little tiny things over there. And I
Right.
never for once thought about that's how God sees things when we ask for it. It's small for him.
Can I
And
ask you this?
yeah, go ahead.
Have y'all ever and this is for everyone, even the people in the comments.
Mhm.
Um, have you ever gotten to a place where you had to prepare yourself to lose people?
Mm-mm.
Mm,
I'm gonna be honest with you, Chris.
hmm. That's that's that's
My
that's
grandmother passed 2 years ago, right?
Hmm.
You know, when we think of grandmothers, we think of strong. We think of the foundation. We think of this. We think of that. I
Hmm.
never saw my grandmother weak. Um, one, two
mm,
days before she passed, I seen her in hospice where she couldn't do nothing or have no knowledge, but she squeezed my hand. Hey, this money. She called me money. This money.
Mm.
Squeeze my hand if you feel me. She squeezed it. I put on her favorite song, uh, and she was humming. Right.
Mm.
I
Okay.
had to prepare my mind, body, and soul to lose someone that means so much to me in my life. It
Yeah.
still affects me to this day. That's probably one of the hardest things I ever had to prepare for in my life. Losing my grandmother. Yeah,
mm.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Let, let me
yeah.
ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when we're talking about death, right?
Uh-huh.
It's
Mm-hmm.
that's a hard pill for any one of us that lost family members and stuff
Yeah.
or friends.
Oh yeah. Oh
But
yeah.
what about have you prepared yourself to lose people that are alive? right? Maybe it's a
Right.
relationship, maybe it's a friendship, maybe somebody you know for a long time. Are you
Yeah.
prepared yourself to lose those individuals
And
because they may not
that
be in God's
they're not
plan for
they're
you?
not being God's plan. That's
Yeah.
the question that I was asking was on both sides of that,
Right,
Hmm.
because you know, you losing your grandmother, okay,
Hmm.
you had to
that's
get to a
huge.
place to where you prepared for
Yeah.
that.
Hmm.
Me losing my father, I wasn't prepared for that.
Mm.
You never
So
are. You never
Even though
are.
we know,
you know
right?
what I
It's this
mean.
crazy thing. Even when we know everybody gonna die one day, it's
We
another thing when
we
it
we
actually,
yes, we know
yeah,
that. We always talk about that. Yeah, man, everybody got a time. You know,
everybody got
everybody
to
gonna
go.
die. This
Right,
and
How can
that.
right.
you prepare your mind and stuff when you
For
know,
this,
oh, I can go to my dad and talk to him about anything,
yeah,
or
yeah.
It's because we don't know the how. We don't know how
We
people gonna
don't
go.
know the how. We don't know the
That's the kid.
how.
We don't know the
so how
how.
can you
Be-
prepare though? How can you prepare
You
when
Because
you know some?
here's the thing. As a young person, when you're coming up,
Mhm.
you see an old person, you feel like, okay, man, I got time. You know, they sudden at such and such age or
right,
whatever. I got time with them. Okay. I got time until I get to that place, you know. When you think about dying, if you're not, you know, a person that's kind of a little bit, you think of your loved ones being around you. You think of if your parents or your grandmother, anyone was passing, you had that time to go up and speak to them and talk to them and, hey, I
so
love you, you know,
what's
this
the
and that.
last thing you would say? Right,
What's the last thing you would say?
say right.
The last thing I said to my father was, I love you.
See, that's good.
So I was good on that side. But the problem
Right,
was, I said that on a Sunday. I got the call that he was unresponsive on a Tuesday. So I'm me having to be in the hospital. I'm talking to him. He can't talk back.
right,
I'm speaking
right,
to him. He can't, he not even acknowledge me there.
right,
2 days later, we had to pronounce him.
right.
And then it got to a point to where the machine started going off and everybody coming in, working on him, working on him, working on him. And in my mind, I'm saying, stop, let him go, let him go.
Right, right, right.
And before it came out of my mouth, the doctor said it because my mother said it. And I just looked at me and her locked eyes and we just like, yeah, let him go. Just let him go.
And I
But
think that's it.
before that I actually was like, you know, it was just me and him in the room, and I actually got in his ear and I told him, I got it. I got it.
And sometimes
You can
people
go.
people don't. It it's we have a we have an amazing. The human nature in us is naturally selfish to the people we love. We're naturally selfish to the people that we love. We want you here. We want you to live almost live forever,
Yeah.
right? That's
Yeah.
just that selfish part of us.
That's true.
And we don't always we know that they got health challenges or they got some health issues, and we want them to fight through it because we want them to come on the other side and do all that stuff. But a lot of times they have prepared themselves to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we haven't prepared ourselves, but a lot of people
We
when they get ready
yeah.
to go, they prepared themselves to go. A lot of times, once they hear something, once they hear you okay, once somebody
Right.
show up in the hospital, maybe they're waiting for their daughter, or their son, or their cousin. A lot of times, all
Hmm.
they do is wait for that person, and they go. They're like,
And
okay,
then
I'm
and then they go.
yeah,
Because it seemed like sometimes they be set in a place to where, look, I gotta hang around and say this last thing to this
I'm
person
telling you,
so that they can
right.
go ahead and get right. And it
But
happens like that. But
but you
on the other side, I had one of my partners, man, I grew up with, and I had to. Me and this cat was tight, man. We was really,
are you
really
talking about
tight.
you talking about what Don are you talking about who
Who,
died?
Shay?
Is it
Don
Shay?
Shay?
Yeah, yeah, Shay. Is it Shay?
No, Shay, that's my cousin. You know,
Okay,
yeah, we grew up in a house together.
okay.
Um, but no, this is one of my partners from Sunnyside, and we uh we kind of had to separate once I started going to the other school. So it just he kind of got out there. He got out there and he got on some drugs. He got on some stuff
That's
like
true.
that. And when I would come back around, he would um he would actually I see him out there. You know what I mean? I go try to holler at him, go try to talk to him, and it just wasn't the same anymore. You know what I mean?
Right,
And
right.
then had one instance where he actually showed up at my mom's house, um, and he was there at night, and I
Mm.
had to when I found out that he had popped up over there, um, I had to talk to him like, nah, you can't, don't, nah. I know what you're doing, and I know what you've done out there in the streets. Yeah, you can't do that. Don't pop up over here no more. And I had to do that, and that hurt because me and this cat, since we was like 6 7 years old.
Well, you know what happened, right?
Yeah,
You know what happened, right? The old, and this is what happens when you're in growth, right? When you're preparing for the next level and the next stage, the next phase in life, the old you have to die. Something
yeah,
has to die for something else to live. That's the way it goes,
yeah,
right? The old you have to die,
True.
and then the new you is reborn, right? You don't think the way you think. You don't see things the way you see things. That's why you outgrow people
yeah,
because you're not there anymore, right? The old you died. That person is dead. That person is that old person that used to do the things you used to do, right? Maturity kicked in, life
yeah,
kicked in, right? You had,
yeah,
you got a wife, maybe you had an epiphany of some things, and you just want better, you want change, or you're preparing yourself for the next levels and next stages of the things. And I think for
yeah,
everybody listening, that's what you have to do at this point, right? In order to do something different, have something different, you got to be in a different place in your life. And
yeah.
it starts with you being in a different place in your life, period, with
It,
yourself. You see what I'm saying? You can't think the
yeah,
same way and expect things to be different. If you don't, you have to think. That's another thing I do for 2023, yo. I had to start reading and listen to wealthy people how they do things. My wife and I are learning a lot of different things about wealth, taxes, how money is distributed, how to buy things from a business, and how they do all these different things. Like we learning all these different things just from the money aspect of it, right? Learning how wealth, because if I'm asking God for wealth or money or different lifestyle, well, I gotta
I gotta
understand
have a
how it
better
works.
understanding.
I
Yeah.
understand how money
Hmm.
works, right? And so the
Hmm.
old you have
Hmm.
to die, right? The old you that always did, because some people always, some people you hear them say it all the time. This is just who I am. Love me for this is who I am. This is just me. Well, you just stubborn, right? You just stubborn and strong will. And if look at anybody that has ever said that, this is just me. One or two things that happen: either they're single or they don't really they haven't grown. They're the same
Hmm.
person for the last 20 years. And ain't nothing about them different. They probably got the same car, the same house, the same, you know what I'm saying? Nothing about them is different because they themselves have made a decision. This is just who I am. This is me. You know what I mean? Love me, you leave me, them kind of things. You have there's nobody that should be the exact same way you were 10, 20 years ago. Straight up. No one should be the same way. You have too much experience in this life. You have gone through too many things. You have seen too many things. You have experienced things. There's no way you go through all that and you the same exact person. You're just choosing not to grow. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't prepare yourself for the next level and you ain't growing. And sometimes you got to get people on board with you. If you're a couple, husband and wife, it's time to grow up out of that. You got to prepare for the next stage in life. Ain't no more, this my car, this your car, my money, your money. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's sometimes somebody got to grow up to some things. That you could have, there people got
Hmm.
two separate bank accounts, and that might work for certain households, right? Maybe, some things, and that's fine. But you, even though you have two separate bank accounts, you ought to have one bank account also with both your names on it, maybe just to pay bills or whatever. Maybe somebody ain't that good at money. You might be better, right? We gotta start getting to this place, y'all, where we prepare ourselves to the next level. You ought to be able to grow with this person, right? If you ain't
Hmm.
growing, you're just wasting time at this point. Right? When you get to a certain place, you're in your 40s and stuff like that. You know, if this is what we need to be working on. Where are we going with this? Where are we going with this marriage? You got to have a heart to heart. Like you got to sit down and be like, where are we going? Like, what are we trying to do with this? Like, are we going? Are we growing? Right? It's no longer yours and mine. It's ours. What we doing? And if you're not on that level, and you got people talking about this, that, and the other, y'all got to get the counseling. You got to figure out some things because you're not
Yeah.
preparing yourself. You're not growing. And then you're gonna get to the place in life. It's so crazy. Christy and I were just having a talk, my wife and I said, babe, yeah, she thought about going back to college and finishing up. And I asked her, she said, well, sometimes I feel like I want to go, sometimes I feel like I don't. And I asked her that, and this is something I recommend people should do. Because what I always tell her is I don't want you to ever have regrets in your life. I don't ever want you to go to that midlife crisis stuff. That stuff is real and it creeps on you. Let me put that
Yeah.
out there. That stuff will
Yep.
creep up on you. And it comes from you either been in a job for so long, you've been doing something for so long, and it just creeps up on you. You're like, why do I feel this way? Either you have a
Hmm.
birthday, you realize you're 45. You got a birthday, you realize you're 40. You got a birthday, you realize you're 30. Whatever it is, it'll hit you. It hits you one day, boom. And you start looking at all the things in life you didn't do, all the things in life you always said you wanted to do. Then you look at where you are now. And it beats you up because you understand you're on the back end of your life now.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You've been on the
That
back end
happened
of your
at
life.
that happened at that 44th, bro. The one you was at.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? It
It
hits
happened at
you.
that party. It hit that, like, you know what I mean?
Like, well, like what's going
I
on?
I I gotta get to living. That
Yes,
that's just
it
where I
hits you.
was.
You got to cut the
I
onion.
really got to get to living, man. I gotta move around. I gotta do more, not just for myself, but for me and my wife.
Why? Yeah,
We
exactly. You're a
we we
unit.
gotta we
You
gotta
got to
get to
flow.
going. You know what I'm saying? Even for
Yeah,
my mother, you know what I mean? I need to be in a place where I can get her and just pick up and go one day. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
because my parents never been on vacation.
And
Never.
that's
That's
crazy.
crazy to
You know
me.
what I'm saying? That's
That's
crazy.
crazy to me. They
There's some
they
people
they
on here that don't even that never left this country. That they have never in
Yeah,
their mind, and that's why I say you got to prepare for the next level. Stop saying stuff like, well, you know what? Oh, I don't get on airplanes. What are you talking about? Like,
yeah.
you ain't got to take no 4 hour flight. Take a 30-minute one. Go on the airplane. It ain't gonna kill. If you go on a roller coaster,
I
go to
I,
Six
I
Flags, and then get on an airplane. You'll see there's
for,
really not a whole lot of difference.
for everybody out there, your next thing as far as preparation need to be just preparing to live
Live your
life.
life, celebrating life. That's why
Live
we doing this
life,
series.
man. Just get out
Just
there.
live.
There's other things to see
Other things
other
to
than
do.
Houston or wherever you are. There's other things outside of your state.
Yeah, go live life.
Try that first. Just go outside of your state. Go see how another state lives. Go see how they do things. It's different.
I
And
mean,
then
and look,
get out the country.
and
Go see.
just take a small vacation somewhere. Do something
Yeah,
different. Some of y'all been in the same job, doing the same thing. You know you're supposed to leave that job. You discuss
yeah.
it. You're tired of it. Some of y'all need to work from home now.
They
You
gotta prepare for it though.
you got to
They
prepare
they doing
yourself
to
for that
prepare
stuff.
for
You
it.
know what I'm saying? Prepare
Yeah.
yourself
That's
to try
true.
something different. You know what I mean? Don't be, everything is not. Sometimes, man, we just got caught up in they call it the rat race in life, right? Where you just go through the process and
Yeah.
you're chasing money, you're chasing all these different things, and you're not preparing yourself to just live. Just live.
I
Do you understand? You want to do this once. Listen, I don't know about reincarnation and all this other stuff. That's all I know is I'm here now
I
and
I
get the
want
things
to
that you want to get.
yeah, I want to prepare myself to be able to help other folk. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's
Okay.
crazy. Like with D, you run a nonprofit. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's something
Mhm.
that I thought about for a while
Jamaica
now.
does that stuff too. Yep.
Right, and that's what I'm
He
saying.
does not.
And even now, when I go, the church I started attending again over at Higher Dimension, um, they have multiple people in that organization that does nonprofit, and it's like it's steady being thrown out there. Like, okay, yeah, you can learn. So what you're gonna do? You're gonna start preparing for it. But the
Once you
fact
do
that
that,
yeah, the fact that I mean, I'm basically in business with someone who does that. You know what I'm saying? That's just that 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 cherry on top. You know what I mean? To go ahead and get
Yeah,
start stepping out there and doing these things. So
once you
uh,
decide to do that, you're right, Chris. Once you decide that you want to try something new, once you decide to do something different,
hmm
what happens is you don't realize this. When you start, when you make your mind up to do something different and you actually take the process of actually start doing it, watch what happens in your life. What happens is, and you see it on movies a lot.
yeah,
But what happens is you st- you un how I say this, you stop handicapping your
yourself.
blessings.
Yeah. You stop
Right. You
handicapping
stop
yourself. Yeah,
handicapping yourself. You take up the handcuffs. And God is able to do some things for you because you know what will happen? You'll start getting little blessings you never thought about. You'll meet people you never thought you'll meet. You'll meet
yeah,
people in places you never thought you would be.
right.
And these people will drop little nuggets for you that will change your life. They'll have little conversations with you would change your life. All of a sudden, you change a different job, and all of a sudden now you're in a different place. You get a different title.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Different.
So
Matter of fact, T.D. Jakes talk about this. No joke. He gave a testimony. Was it Jakes who gave that one? I think it was it Jakes or was it Creflo? One of them. There's a lady who was she was at a job and she was applied for this promotion because this goes back to we talking about everybody got their own plan. Remember the one we talking about earlier? You got your plan and what you want to do.
that's true. That's
She
true.
she had she had her plan and
Hmm.
she went to college and she went back to school, got online, got a degree, and she
hmm
applied for this promotion from this job. She applied for it, didn't get it. She's like, all right, then she was a little mad, upset. The person who got promoted, they ended up leaving. So they had the job posted again. A few months later, like 6 months later, they got the same job posting. She applied again, didn't get it. So at this point, she's frustrated. She's like, you know what? I'm gonna look for something else. I don't need to be here. This ain't where I need to be at. This, that, and the other. So she praying about it, and then I think either Creflo or one of them was telling her, it's like, hold on for a second. He said they were saying, I'm getting my spirit. You don't need to leave yet. And so what they did was the company offered her another position. They said, okay, instead of doing this one over here, go do this over here. And it was like a lateral move. They didn't pay her more money. They just gave her a different title. And she was
right.
mad. She was like, you know what, I'll take it, but I'm gonna look for something else because this ain't what I want to do. Do you know that lateral move? She came back and told the pastor, she says the best thing ever happened to her. She said that title and that position opened up all sets of stuff with her skill set that she never thought of. And not only did she end up moving up in that title, she ended up getting paid more money. They opened
Hmm.
another position for her higher within that same space. So no, guess what happened? She ended up making more money, ended up getting a better title than she
Right.
would have had she did the other thing that she had applied for 2, 3 times. I say all that to say when you're talking about preparation tonight and preparing for what you need to be at in the next level and the next
Right.
phases, you got to sometimes. I know you got a plan in your mind. I know you got written it down because they say write the vision, make it plain.
Okay.
Stop trying to tell God the how. Stop trying to tell the process. It may not go A, B, C, D, E. Do you understand? You can skip different levels and paces in life. Do you understand? You can go from A to Z or A to F. You
Yeah.
don't have to go A, B, C, D, E. And
Right.
sometimes God wants to get you from A to F. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? So I'm not saying you don't have a plan for anything. All I'm saying
Hmm.
is be open to how the process is going to pan out for you. Don't just
That's
Yeah.
true.
just don't stick to the script to say, okay, it gotta happen this way. When she opened
Yeah.
up, God had to force her in that position.
Yeah.
Everybody may not have
Yeah.
that. You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
they
Right.
forced her into that. But had she just sat back and said, okay, you know what? Okay, well, it's a lateral move. Okay, maybe I need to do some of y'all turning down working from home because the money ain't, well, no, I'm taking less
Yeah.
in money. Do you understand the peace of mind you get? You don't got to hit traffic in the morning.
She
How
she
much
she
money you
had
have?
she had enough she had enough faith to go ahead and step out there. And
Right. Well, she
like
did it spitefully. She was like, "Well, I'm gonna do
I
it, but
mean,
I'm gonna look for something else."
but she still did it. So
That's
that
it.
was faith to go ahead and do that.
Just do it.
What
Now,
what made you is two questions. What made you want to do that, D? And then how did it even get started
with the nonprofit.
with the nonprofit?
Well, I always imagined it could have been me. As we know, in the blink of an eye, in the blink of an eye, you can be on your last.
You can
Uh,
lose
Yeah,
everything. You're
we
right.
all
yeah,
know, these jobs ain't promised. At any
right.
moment, anytime, they can let you go. Uh, the bills still come. Hard
Yeah.
times and struggles still come. So what I'm saying is, I took a look at myself and learned to appreciate me to help somebody else. Uh,
Gotcha.
Also, I wanted to leave a foundation for my family and kids. Uh, I kid you not, just this week, my daughter did an article on me about
Mm,
giving back
Okay.
for high
There you
school.
go.
I just had to do 10
Legacy.
questions.
I was gonna say that. That's a
Exactly,
legacy.
exactly. So
Yeah.
not only do she could have chose anybody in the world, but she chose me, and I appreciate it. And I just want to be an example for them. That's it, man. That's it. That's it. That's it.
Okay, be
Just
up for
lending that
someone
helping
else.
hand
Okay.
because it can be one of us.
Yeah.
Uh, she,
Hurricane, remember Harvey?
she
All them stuff happened,
I
yo.
met Chee, I met Chee, I hope a way back, but
Yeah, it's been a
I gave him
minute.
my vision. I gave him my vision. I told him what I wanted to do, and every
And I was
time,
on.
him,
Yeah. Every time, man. That
him and
comes
his
on.
wife always pulled up and supported me. You
Yep.
know what I mean? So,
Daytron,
uh,
me, you, Daytron.
I'm not gonna
That's where I got
say,
from.
I'm not gonna say it all is gonna be easy, Chris. But what I will
Hmm.
say, if you're doing it from your heart, it's gonna be worth it. That's all I'm gonna
It's
say.
worth it.
If you need me for
Yeah.
Just sowing
anything,
seed.
you know where to reach me, and I can
Yeah.
line you up. But it ain't gonna be easy at all. But it's gonna be worth it for sure.
But you just you,
Yeah.
you don't put that seed in there. See what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And that's it's
Hmm.
biblical, right? Whatever you sow it, that shall you also reap, right? So
Hmm.
you
That's
got
true.
to
That's
you
true.
sowing them seeds of helping. You're doing seeds of giving. So you've actually a lot of I'll say this and then we got to wrap things. A lot of y'all got seed that you put out here on the earth. You get what I'm saying? You got seed out here. You helped a lot of people. Been a blessing to a lot of people. Prayed
Yeah.
for a lot of people. You
Yeah.
you you got seed out here, and the Bible says God says, bring me back to remembrance. You got to
Hmm.
start pulling some harvest out, right?
Yeah.
Y'all just have to
Yeah.
have some harvest sessions now. Lord, I done
Yeah.
sowed the seed to help this person out. Lord, I done sowed my seed to fix my credit. So I need some favor, right? I need the credit
Yeah.
repair. I need some grace. Lord, I need to, you know what I'm saying? So you have seed in the ground. So you need to start tapping into that seed now and have harvest, right? Okay, Lord, I'm sowed all this seed. I've helped all these people. Lord, I need some help now because Lord, I need to get this over here. And if I get this over here,
Hmm.
I'm more of a blessing. If you give me this over here, Lord, I know I can do this more. God said, bring it back to remembrance. So, so just to kind of wrap things all the way, y'all, we're talking about preparation. Just be prepared to live your life. Live life. Okay, stop putting the handcuffs on things. Change, open your mind up to whatever God has for you, whatever it is you want to do. Try new things. Cut back on some things. Just try new processes in life. You know what I mean? Just don't just handicap yourself. If you've been doing what you've been doing, you're gonna keep getting what you've been getting. And if you don't believe me, look at the last 5 or 10 years. You've been doing the same thing. So either the same job, doing the same cars,
Hmm.
doing the same situation. You haven't changed anything. 2023, change something, do something different, be different. And we're gonna go and wrap this up, y'all. We've been on here for like God, for a minute. But we come up with y'all. We do this every Tuesday, Thursdays, 8 p.m.
Yes,
Eastern.
sir.
Excuse me, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. We're gonna start adding on um, Instagram, IG live to what we already on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. We're doing this live. We're gonna start doing some of these broadcasts. We actually gonna meet up. You got some things in the horizon. Let's put it out. There's some things in the horizon. But y'all,
For
we do
sure.
what we do, y'all. You know what I mean? So
Oh
shout out
yeah.
to Dick Palmer, Kingfish, you guys. Anything you want to tie in there before we get up out of here?
Uh,
Be prepared
well,
more. Prepare more. That's it. That's it.
yeah.
Word, word. That's
I
right.
I I think that if you keep preparing for greatness, you won't be shocked when it
Yeah,
comes.
there it
So,
is.
I agree.
Be prepared.
and
Agree.
that's in anything that you're doing. Keep preparing for greatness. I don't care what it is. Just try to
Yeah.
be whatever. Just try to be the best, and keep pressing, man. Keep
I
pressing.
agree.
There it is.
I
There it
agree.
is, y'all. That's it. So we'll be back, y'all, on enjoy your weekend. We'll be back on Tuesday,
Be
next
safe.
Tuesday. Be safe,
Hmm.
right? And we're
Yeah.
gonna drop some topics. We're gonna talk about some things, y'all, and do the way we do it, right? So God
Yeah.
bless y'all, and we out of here. Y'all take care. We love y'all.
Blessing. Blessing.